So, welcome to another edition of a Work-Life presentation at the University of Kentucky. This month we have been celebrating National Work and Family Month, and our theme has been the whole person perspective. And we are wrapping up this month's series with a presentation by Jackie Carroll talking about self-compassion and saying yes to yourself. So, thank you, Jackie, for being with us today.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I am happy to be here because I too am in the same boat. I have all the things, family, kids, pets, work. So yeah, I feel like I can connect with all of you in some way, shape, or form. I'm a health coach here at UK Health and Wellness. I teach yoga and these mindfulness practices, but my biggest passion is helping folks see that taking care of themselves is not selfish or foo-foo. It is actually what we all need to be doing, because when we take care of ourselves, we hold the space for others to take care of themselves too. If you think about that in relation to your home, your family, if you're taking great care of yourself, you're setting a standard or being a role model for your family members. And if you're a leader or a coworker, you're also doing the same. So today, I have some practices and skills that I want to offer you. I don't have a magic wand to take care of any barriers or challenges that you might have to take care of yourself, but what I do have are some really easy ways that you can offer yourself kindness, compassion, space, and maybe even some nurturing in order for you to feel a little less empty and exhausted and overwhelmed and more alive, more aware and inspired. So to start, Azetta already told us how beautiful fall is. So why don't we all take a walk? Is everybody able to at least look out a window or go outside of their office? Are you allowed to do that right now for like 5 minutes? Could you give me a thumbs up if you can? Can anybody do that? Okay. So what I want us to do is go away from our cameras and let's see, it's 12:08. So at like 12:13, we'll come back, and what I want you to do is literally go outside and just stand and let the air touch your skin. Look at the leaves, look at the clouds, and walk and wander slowly around wherever the space is. Even if you have to do this in your office and you're looking out the window doing that, that's completely fine. But I want you to try to just be outside, no destination. If you're at home working, don't pick up the mail or start pulling weeds. Literally go out and just be. So with that, I will be doing the same thing. So let's try it. Everybody come back to your camera at 12:13. Welcome back from your awe-inspiring, beautiful time out in nature, hopefully. If you are all back at your cameras, could you give me a thumbs up so I know some folks are back? So as this being human thing is that we're all trying to balance and manage and hold together, being out in nature is one of the most wonderful ways to take care of yourself. So just being outside, letting the air touch your skin. So often we are moving from one place to the other with our head down and in our minds thinking of how our meetings are going to go. We're thinking of things we have to do 3 days from now. And we miss the beauty and all the things that are around us in that moment. This idea of taking care of yourself could be just that. When you're feeling this charge around you or you're feeling overwhelmed, go outside, take a few minutes for yourself, and literally just stand and breathe, or look at something beautiful, like the leaves. And this might seem like, oh, well, that sounds like, so silly. But actually, doing that affects our brain. Our brain responds to the beauty of nature. And when we focus on it, we're not focusing on the things that tangle us up. So this season of fall, the trees are most wonderfully showing us how to let things go. And my favorite quote is, "Everything in nature happens, yet it's never in a hurry." Everything in nature happens, yet it's never in a hurry. So if you think about us as humans, and we're connected just like the trees are, we oftentimes are so focused on the things that aren't working, on judging ourselves, assuming maybe negative or have negative thoughts, or have just sort of like this dullness about us. And honestly, just taking that wonderful 2-minute break outside could be what you need. When we talk about taking care of ourselves, most often what we're doing is we're fulfilling a need. And as humans, the easiest thing for us to do is to find it outside of ourselves. So this is what we do. We eat, we maybe have alcohol or smoking or whatever. We shop too much, we gossip. Those are all the ways that sometimes we think we're taking care of ourselves. So in today's practices, I want to show you, and I want you to experience how it will feel to notice what you truly need, and how to sort of be kind to yourself in the process. So first, we're going to do a kind gestures practice. If you can sit back and close your eyes and settle into a nice, easy breath. Our breath is the second best way to take care of yourself. The first is nature. I love nature. The second is just to sit and breathe. As you're breathing in and breathing out, think about the depth of your breath. We can hold a gallon of air in our lungs. And so often we're breathing short, quick breaths, which tells our brains that something is bothering us, or it tells our body to start speeding up the flood of cortisol. And what we don't want is that feeling of anxiety. So if we slow down our breath, our brain is starting to think, wow. Our brain is starting to send messages to our nervous system. Okay, he or she is safe, doesn't have to make huge decisions at this moment, and is comfortable. So the body starts to regulate. And then, as your eyes are closed and you're breathing, imagine you're trying to blow a balloon up in your belly. It's like the teeny tiniest little space that you're making in your belly, like right where your belly button is. You can sort of pooch out your belly in the breath, and then exhale nice and easy. This kind of breathing is called belly breathing, and it has so many amazing health benefits. If you're feeling frantic as you're driving, which some of us do, you could start to belly breathe. If you're in a meeting and you're feeling really, really emotional, maybe you're getting angry or frustrated, instead of saying something that you wish you didn't say, you could take these nice deep breaths. So just keep breathing in and breathing out. Now, as you're breathing, remind yourself that you too deserve appreciation. So as you're breathing in, maybe breathe in for yourself kindness and breathe out judgment. Breathe in kindness and breathe out judgment. Or breathe in acceptance and breathe out competition. Breathe in acceptance and breathe out competition. Or comparison. Just trying to be a little softer in your breath. You can go back to your natural rhythm of breathing. And we're going to go through the kind gestures practice. So start with your hands on your heart, both hands on your heart. And I know some of you, this might be completely uncomfortable and new, but just stay with me. So placing both hands on the heart. Just noticing what it feels like to breathe in and breathe out. Our hands are an offering of our heart. And so often we're offering kindness, encouragement, and support to our family, to our friends, to our coworkers, to our parents. So for now, you receive it. And then maybe we're going through something where we want strength and courage, and maybe we really want to call up our power, not egotistical power, but like just this power of being human. And so make a fist at your bottom hand, make a fist, and then put your top hand over the fist and breathe. This is like fierce compassion. This is like, I have the courage to say no to something so I can say yes to myself. This looks like, I am going to set this boundary, even if it's making you uncomfortable. I need this. This is saying, I am fiercely going to honor my needs at this moment, whatever it is. And then place one hand on the heart and one hand on the navel, and notice your breath. Feel the chest and belly rise. And then taking both hands to the navel. So often we are worried, or we have wondered why we have maybe some health issues in our digestive system. And so often we have these issues because of our stress or our imbalance or our disharmony, or we're just not aligned with our values, and it's eating at us, literally. So breathing in and breathing out. In yoga, we say our issues are in our tissues, and so often they're in our belly, like negative stories about ourselves and judgments. So as you're breathing, just start to really appreciate all that you have done and persevered so far. Without comparing or assuming that it's not perfect, you could even say something like, I'm doing the best I can. And then place one hand on your right cheek, your right hand on your right cheek, and just let your right cheek rest on your hand. And then the left. And then both hands cradling the face. You could put your elbows on your desk and just let your face be supported by your hands, having your eyes closed. Feel the breath move in and out. And just enjoy this moment. And then when you're ready, placing your hands wherever they're comfortable. You could go back to the hands on the heart, whichever one you liked. Maybe you didn't like any of them, but that's okay. If you did, just stay there with your eyes closed, trying to get a little bit more comfortable in your chair. And so often we are focused on what we think we're not doing well. We're focused on maybe we're focused on the things that are out of our control. So for this moment, we're going to take a self-compassion break. So think about something right now in your life that's causing you a little angst. It's not the most traumatic thing, but it's something that's happened recently that it's really caught your attention. Could be a health concern, a relationship issue, a work problem, family, whatever it is. And then imagine that exact thing happened to your best friend. And in your mind, and even with the tone of voice that you would use, what would you say to them to comfort them? Like, wow, that is so difficult. That is suffering. That must really hurt. What would you say to your best friend going through the same exact thing that you're struggling with? What words, what phrases, even the tone of voice would you use? And then turn the whole thing around and say those exact things to yourself. Use your name, like Jackie. Wow, that was really hard for you to handle. Use those same kind words with that same tone of voice right back to yourself. Even if it seems difficult, give it a try. You may be thinking, well, I don't deserve this much kindness, or it's hard for me to come up with nice words to say to myself. Still, try. And then bring that situation back to mind. Bring the details of it, the thing that you're struggling with, and notice if it feels any different. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but maybe there's a little bit of softness around the edges of it. Maybe it doesn't give you that really strong charge. Maybe you have more space to see more ways to choose to respond. Just by offering yourself the space to be kind, to feel heard and validated. Now slowly bring your awareness back to being in the place that you're in. And just let go of that practice and just settle back into your breathing. This idea of saying yes to yourself is not selfish. We so often are giving and giving and giving, and it turns out that we're giving from an empty place. There has to be some shift. There has to be some fill up for you. So whether it's going golfing, whether it's taking a walk, maybe it's something really simple. This is what I do, is I put fresh flowers in my kitchen. That always brings a smile to my face. And the thing is that we don't need to try to change our outside environment. We don't need to try to change people. What we need to change is the way we are in our mind and in our heart. The atmosphere of our heart and mind is where we have our power. And when we can tap into what we truly need without feeling guilt or shame, we feel more creative. We feel more energized. We feel more connected. I believe that the person with the most power in any situation is the one who's most cared for. And I say that because when we feel like we're exhausted, we're not getting what we need, we're cranky, we're out of alignment, nothing goes well, we don't have good conversations, we don't come up with good ideas. And the opposite is true. Just like it says on this slide that I have here. You can keep your eyes closed, but I'm going to read it. There's nothing greater to offer the world than your inspired and well-nourished self. So sitting quiet with your eyes closed, you have permission in this moment to imagine, what is it that you might need to feel inspired and well-nourished? I'm going to give you like 2 minutes. Just settle in and wait. Maybe it's a word or a phrase or an image. What is it that you need to feel inspired and well nourished? There's no wrong answer. And then ask yourself, what could I do for me? Not what can I buy, what not something outside of you. What do you have in your control that you could do for you? If you can't think of anything, you could just say to yourself, inhale for me, exhale for me. Inhale for me, exhale for me. And then as you feel your next breath, keeping your gaze down, let your eyes gently blink open and just pause. Maybe you could write down what came to you or type it in your phone, whatever you need to do. Saying yes to yourself, as we've already done, is take a break in nature and truly take the break. Like, pause and look at the beauty. Second, take a moment and just notice your breathing, maybe even a kind gesture towards yourself. If anybody knows me, they'll see me walking around campus with my hands on my heart, talking to myself like, Jackie, it's no wonder why you felt this way. You know, I do all these things. And third is literally honing in on what you need to be inspired and well nourished. And last, our bodies are so connected to our mind. Our bodies are our first messenger of disharmony. We feel like you have shoulder pain on the right side because you lifted up something. Well, maybe, but also it could be because what are you carrying that's so heavy that you can't let go of, that's truly bringing you pain? Now, I don't know everybody's details of lives, but I too have these same things pop up in my life. So I want to offer you this compassionate body scan so that you can become aware of how your body is trying to tell you what you need. And most often, it's to slow down and let go. Just like the leaves fall off the trees lovingly let them go, believing that there's going to be new growth in the spring. So for you today, as we go through this compassionate body scan, maybe allow your mind to wander to what needs to be let go in your life in order to feel inspired and well nourished. So getting even more comfortable, and this means like you could turn your lights off in your office or put your feet up on your desk if you're allowed to do any of these things. and really get comfortable. Our bodies carry us through life all day, every day. So let's just take this time to pay attention to our body. And not all of us have a beautiful relationship with our bodies. So if that's the case, just go back to your breathing. If this doesn't feel good to you, you choose what does. And then we'll focus first on our feet. Our feet are literally carrying us through life. Just relaxing your feet, maybe wiggling your toes. And at any moment, taking a deep breath in with an audible exhale, like, ah, that's our natural energy release or our stress release. Then pay attention to your ankle bones. And then the bottom part of the legs, the front and the back. Even as we're sitting, even if we think we're so comfortable, we're still very, very tight and holding, gripping. So notice, could you let go just a little bit? Fall into the chair. Literally let yourself feel like you're just like in a hammock or some amazing thing that's going to support you, that you don't have to hold yourself up right now. Let your chair or wherever you are hold you up. The tops of the legs, the front and the back. Notice what it feels like to receive the support from your breath, from this moment, from your chair or wherever you are. And then notice, how does your low back and belly feel? Maybe you want to place your hands on your low back just for a moment, or you want to give your low back a little massage. Maybe you want to place your hands on your navel again. And then, like I've been saying about fall, what is it that you could let go of that would truly allow more space? Our low back and belly is an area where we get digestive issues, low back pain. Notice if you can just breathe a little deeper into those spaces. Just creating the space. And then as you move up the spine to the shoulder blades, so often we're crunched forward looking at our phones and computers, and we have this posture of carrying. We're carrying maybe stress about caring for a parent or children, or stress at your job or your health, whatever it is. We honor those stresses like we did earlier. But for just this practice, could you imagine that it's just set to the side? For real, this letting go practice, so that you can, almost like you can straighten up your spine a little bit more and open up your heart and relax your shoulders back and down. This might be a time where you want to place your hands back on your heart. Or maybe you have that fierce compassion that you need, that strong, courageous love with the fist under the hand. And then as you're breathing in and breathing out in that heart space, again, noticing what specifically from your heart do you need? If you can't think of anything, you could always just go back to inhale for me and exhale for me. And then moving up to the jaw. So often we're grinding and gripping our teeth at night. Also, we sometimes get stuck, this feeling of stuckness in our throat and in our jaw, because we might need to actually say something that we might have a little bit of fear around, or we're just not sure how to say it, or we just don't think people think it's important. And actually opening your mouth, moving your jaw around, and inspiring yourself to say what you need to say, because it is important. Your voice matters. And then to your eyes and the space around your eyes and your eyelids. Just looking in someone's eyes is inspiring, is comforting, brings safety. And if you're looking at your family or your coworkers, and in your eyes, they see anxiety or fear or overwhelm, what can you do for yourself so when they look in your eyes, they do feel comfort and safety and warmth? And just like you're doing this for you, we want others to do it too. And it starts with you. So stay with your breathing. If you can imagine just like you're sipping a warm cup of tea or coffee by a fireplace, or your favorite place, and just stay there in your mind for a minute, allowing your body to feel nourished and calm, and your mind to be believing in hope, your mind to be believing that you're incredible at what you're doing, and that you're human. You're imperfectly perfect, and that's just enough.